there's been a systematic restructuring and dismantling of our labor legislation and of rights for workers in this country, in Canada, for many, many, many years. And I think it's really important to say that when we're looking at the rise of precarious employment, we're not looking at 10% of the labor market, we're looking at 40% of workers in Canada. 40% of workers in Canada are in precarious jobs. In 2008, Statistics Canada, which is our national research body, found that recent immigrants are more likely than Canadian-born workers to be in temporary or part-time jobs, end up in jobs for which they're overqualified, and be paid lower wages. And this is an institutionalized practice in this country to pay people lower because of the color of their skin and where they were born. And I think that if we don't understand that, and if we don't ensure that that is integrated in our analysis and in our organizing, in our research, in our policy, and in who we do our education to, we're missing the boat. I go out to a lot of different unions and I speak about the rise of precarious work, and with members, and people are talking about the fact that we're in a union, but the cleaners that come in at night that clean the grocery store or the other place that's a subcontracted place, they're not unionized, and we need to be making those connections and ensuring that our breadth of unionization and our organizing is going out to all the workers in the workplace. And I think there's so many ways that everybody's talked about this morning that employers are dividing us, and I think that that building of solidarity really has to take place within our workplaces, within our bargaining units, in our organizing, and how we're building from the grassroots up within our unions. And I think that we have to understand the kinds of systemic racism that is institutionalized in this country that stops people from accessing decent jobs. We have a lot of immigrants that have come to this country who have professional credentials from overseas that have not been recognized and have been streamlined into poor, precarious jobs through temporary agencies. We have immigrants coming in who English is a second language, who are here as who have trades, and who are refugees, and again cannot get access to any training and are streamlined into precarious jobs. We have workers who, through poverty and through civil war and unrest in the South, are here trying to look for a better life for their families. And again, the comment, that Armin talked about at the beginning, that if we don't put this context in a global context, and we don't understand why workers in the South are ending up, whether it's in Denmark or whether it's in Canada, because they're fleeing the kind of poverty and the cheap labor strategies that are happening back home, that's why they're coming into our country to fight for their families. Because I would be doing the same thing. I don't know about you, but I'd be trying to get into a country that has, if I'm going to be taking care of my family, I would be fighting tooth and nail for a decent job and for an ability to get a decent wage. And if that means being illegal, that means damn well being illegal. And so I think before we throw stones at anyone else, we have to look at what we would do for our families. And if we don't understand that, then we don't understand the plight that people are in when they're forced to take those jobs, right? And to fight for their rights. So I think that it really gives us a sense of, when we're looking at our strategies, of how they have to be embedded in a understanding of systemic discrimination.